Both Ginger Snaps from 2000 and Jennifer's Body from 2009 center around teenage girls as vehicles of consumption. Consumption of blood and flesh by the girls, and consumption of horror media by the viewer. From public autopsies to the rise of true crime media, the public has dissected the human form in myriad ways. We see in movies like Diablo Cody and Karen Kusama's Jennifer's Body and John Fawcett and Karen Walton's Ginger Snaps that these girls slice back. Not only that, we see them do it in horrible, disgusting, and delicious ways. The use of blood, both menstrual and from veins, and the monstrosity of the human body in these two films show us how the grotesque can be used to portray feral girls whom we love with all our hearts. Just so much. Carol J. Clover's trope of the final girl has been around since at least the 1974 trope maker Black Christmas by Roy Moore and Bob Clark. However, over the last 22 years, there has been an increasing wealth of horror media in which the women play the horror. In True Blood and Teen Wolf, we have numerous female vampires, female werewolves, but also in movies like Let the Right One In and A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, we have women and girls playing the vampires. In Warm Bodies and iZombie, we have female characters who are zombies. Many ghost villains are women, from 13 Ghosts to The Grudge to the first monster of the week we see in Supernatural, but often female ghosts are presented as sympathetic. It isn't often we see other media in which women play the horror and they're also presented as sympathetic, at least not once they've turned. But you can take Ginger and Jennifer from my cold, dead hands. My cold, dead, warm embrace. In Jennifer's Body, we see Jennifer as the victim of multiple traumas. At first, her favorite venue burns down, and then she is taken into the woods, abducted by Low Shoulder, and sacrificed to the devil. But because she's not a virgin, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean, she comes back to life and then uses her powers to maim, kill, and destroy. In Ginger Snaps, depressed weirdo Ginger is attacked in the woods by a werewolf, turns into a werewolf, and then spends the rest of the movie giving into her bloodlust. While Ginger starts off as sympathetic, especially as a normal teenage girl going through puberty, once she is turned and gives into her bloodlust, we are positioned to see her as less sympathetic and to sympathize less with her, as she is a threat to, the natural order and the well-being of her sister Bridget. It's not really the same with Jennifer because she is not really positioned as sympathetic from the beginning. We see her through the gaze of Needy, the female gaze, as it were. But from the beginning, Jennifer is positioned as a cunt who holds Needy back. Originally, I thought Ginger Snaps was a play on words with like a biscuit, like a ginger snap. I think there's like biscuits called like ginger nuts or something. So I always thought it was like ginger snaps. Instead it's ginger snaps, as in ginger goes off her nut, ginger pops off, ginger cuts loose. So that was fun. Blood, blood, blood. At many points in these films, all four main characters, Ginger and Bridget, Jennifer and Needy, are covered in blood. At some points, drenched in blood. The picture of a teenage girl covered in blood has been iconic throughout all horrors and slashers and monster media, but it is most iconified in the 1976 Brian De Palma film Carrie, which was adapted from Stephen King's novel of the same name. However, Ginger Snaps and Jennifer's body take it to a new level in not only showing these girls covered in blood, but also as the ones doing the bleeding. In both senses, Jennifer and Ginger maim more than they are maimed, and they're doing amazing at it. Blood. All day long, I'm covered in blood. I can't sit down. I can't move. I can't walk. With the contacts, I can't see. With the teeth, I can't talk without a lisp. With the hair, I have to scrub it out with borax and dishwashing liquid. There's glue on my face and blood in my ears, and my legs and my face are stained pink. It's tedious. It looks pretty cool in the end, though, so that makes it all worthwhile. Ginger Snaps introduces the concept of Ginger's period as a fun, inciting incident and also just a way to bring blood into the story in just a natural, normal way. Periods are normal, blood is normal. Ginger's period, which she calls the curse, beckons on the werewolf, who then attacks her because he is drawn to her blood. She then spends the rest of the movie maiming and bleeding and killing and destroying in recompense. She kills the neighbor's dog because he won't stop barking. She has unprotected sex with her boyfriend, and the transmission of bodily fluids turns him into a vampire. She kills the guidance counselor because he finds her disturbing. She kills the janitor because he's friends with her sister. And she kills the stoner guy Sam because he's attempting to help her sister Bridget turn her back from a werewolf into a human, at the cost of potentially killing her. And she almost kills her sister Bridget because Bridget doesn't want to be like her and is trying to cure her. But at that point, it's impossible to tell whether Ginger is so far gone she cannot actually be cured. Ginger has a very visceral reaction to getting her period, which includes very realistically being doubled over in pain inside the chemist from the pain of her cramps. She even says the words just and cramps don't go in the same sentence.
The words just and cramps, they don't go together.
Girl. When she gets her period, the only person who is grossed out about it is Ginger. As opposed to Carrie, no one makes a big deal, no one throws tampons at her, no one bullies her to the point of her breaking down. Instead, she gets the kind of useful and practical information from her health teacher that I did not even get in my high school years. I learned from this movie. It's pretty sad, mostly because I couldn't be bothered looking up what exactly a period is. Periods are brought up in Jennifer's body at least twice. In one scene, Needy says, "You might be PMSing," to which Jennifer replies,
"PMS isn't real, Needy. It was invented by the boy-run media to make us seem crazy."
Oh, she was on another level. God, I love Jennifer. In another scene, Chip skewers Jennifer with a pool net, and because she has a hole in the center of her, Jennifer asks Needy if she has a tampon because she looks like she might be plugging.
You seem like you might be plugging.
When I say this movie deserved an Oscar, so much better than Juno in terms of dialogue, yet got absolutely canned by everyone. I'm livid that this movie did not get the recognition it deserved at the time, but you know what? It's getting it now. It's getting it now. We do owe Jennifer's body and Megan Fox an apology. From being butchered in a forest to killing Ahmet from India, goth kid Colin, and super jock Jonas gets covered in as much blood as she drinks. She's often smiling through it. She drinks Colin's blood from his open stomach, from his ripped open stomach, as rats and crows flit around. So, good on her. You're doing great, sweetie. In the final act of Ginger Snaps, Bridget attempts to drink Sam's blood in order to appease Ginger, but since Bridget has only been a werewolf for maybe an hour, she's not developed enough to actually like drinking it, and she just ends up throwing it back up. It's also possible that Bridget's body was rejecting the lycanthropy, as they call it in the film. I'd love to watch the sequels and see if they do add any more lore to it. But honestly, that movie was perfect. That movie was absolutely perfect. One of the similarities between Jennifer and Ginger is that they don't seem to need to eat their victims, but merely just drink blood and kill. Jennifer drinks their blood to become full, but Jonas, Chip, and Colin's bodies remain pretty much intact. They are referred to as being ripped limb from limb and lasagna with teeth, but I think that is actually hyperbole and not really true to the actual situation. It's just fun little dialogue for shits and gigs. Monster consuming and monstrous consumption. Monster media has always been about consumption, not just of flesh and blood, but sometimes of souls, sometimes of women into brides. Werewolf media has been an ever-evolving landscape of fur, teeth, and claws. From the days of its rising popularity in movies like An American Werewolf in London in 1981 and the 1985 Teen Wolf, 85, 86? We need to fact check that. To the 2011 Teen Wolf remake and the werewolves in media such as Twilight and True Blood, no two pieces of media have shown werewolves to be the same. Jennifer's body is unique in that it portrays Jennifer not as a ghoul, a goblin, a werewolf, or a vampire, or a god even, but as a blood-drinking demon. The lore goes that sacrificing a virgin to the devil will get you what you desire, but sacrificing a woman who's already had sex will turn her into a demon, and the demon will forever reside in the flesh. Jennifer's body flips the stereotypes of normal monster media. Instead of a teenage boy fighting a vaguely homosexual monster who is a threat to the cis-heterosexual world order, we have a teen girl betraying her best friend, who just so happens to be pure evil. And if they're both sapphic, then who's driving the car? In an ET Live interview with Megan Fox, Diablo Cody, writer of Jennifer's Body, talks about how she knew what she wanted with Jennifer's Body, which was to write a crazy gonzo movie with a female focus about a girl who eats boys with elements of cannibalism, sex, empowerment, and revenge. While the films are named after Ginger and Jennifer, both eerily similar names, the protagonists are their counterpart. Needy, Jennifer's best friend, and Bridget, Ginger's sister. The films are shown through Bridget and Needy's perspectives. In fact, in scenes with both Bridget and Ginger, which is a lot of the scenes in the movie, we don't really see Ginger's reactions, her expressions, as much as we see Bridget's. I'm specifically thinking of the scene in which they find the dog right before Ginger is attacked by the werewolf.
I can't distract her.
The fuck, B, this is your idea. If you don't like your ideas, stop having them.
I can only think of one scene in which we actually see Ginger by herself, and that's when Bridget locks her in the bathroom and we see through Ginger's perspective. And it's shot really interestingly. It's like got these really cool angles with like the wood that's being placed behind the door and all this stuff. Like it's just it's really cool. I really love it. And I also found it really interesting that in the final act, Ginger is never seen by herself. She's only seen in parts with Bridget specifically, not even with Sam, who is attempting to cure Ginger at the same time. So we only get to see her through Bridget's perspective, and I assume that this is like a cool nod to like how Ginger is now transformed from autonomous human being to complete mindless beast. In the last scene, we see Jennifer, while she is on her own, we really are seeing her through Needy's eyes. Maybe not necessarily the angles, but through Needy's perspective. Another scene in which we see Jennifer alone is when she's crying in front of her mirror as she's applying makeup for the dance. We see her through her reflection as she sees herself, as she covers her tears with foundation. Oh, poor baby. Oh, poor baby. I don't want her to hurt. Jennifer refuses to eat Needy on multiple occasions, and I'm assuming this to mean that she actually wants to be with Needy and not eat her, you know? Those two things are easy to confuse when you're a psychosapphic teen, speaking from experience. Instead, Jennifer eats everyone who Needy is close to, including one of her friends, Colin Gray, and her boyfriend, Chip. I feel very much when Jennifer says to Needy, blow Chip off so you can hang out with me. Because when I was a teen who didn't know I was interested in women and didn't know that I was a lesbian, I would, get really angry and upset with my friends for hanging out with their boyfriends. I just wouldn't understand it. And in the words of Regina George, they would blow me off to hang out with their boyfriends and I'd get really upset. So I see in Jennifer the same reaction. She wants Needy's attention solely. She wants Needy to dump Chip so that they can play boyfriend-girlfriend like they used to.
We can play boyfriend-girlfriend like we used to.
And when Needy won't, because she is as much in love with Chip as she is with Jennifer, Jennifer kills Chip. You are more than welcome to interpret Jennifer as bisexual, but personally speaking from experience as someone who rode the Compet roller coaster for the first 26 years of my life and who used to identify as bisexual, I identify with Jennifer because I'm a lesbian and because she exhibits the same kind of sadistic, kinds of behaviors towards men that I did when I was a teen. I didn't kill boys. That's not what I'm talking about. I feel as though she leans more lesbian than bisexual because of her complete disregard for men, which is something that I experienced as well. Much better now. Men are fine. You're fine. Babes, I love you. You're great. Keep watching my videos. Donate to my channel. While Jennifer is turned into a demon through the act of sacrificial murder, in Ginger Snaps, Ginger is turned into a lycanthrope through blood infection. The characters consistently refer to her as a lycanthrope and not a werewolf because, as Patricia Malloy theorizes, the film pathologizes the idea of lycanthropy as a medical affliction, not necessarily a curse. They never refer to lycanthropy as a curse. The real curse is the female affliction of periods and puberty. A bite, unprotected sex, or blood-to-blood contact can turn someone into a werewolf. In a callback to the pact they state earlier in the film, Bridget cuts both... Bridget? It just looks like Brigitte, okay? I've got French on the brain. I don't know. Bridget cuts both her and Ginger's palms and presses them together, turning herself into a werewolf in order to convince Georgia. Oh my god, my brain is so fried. This is what always happens. Every time I try and use my webcam, it takes me like 140 hours to film anything because my webcam keeps corrupting the footage because it's a piece of shit. So she does this to convince Ginger to come back to the house where she can administer the monkshood concoction, which actually it works to turn Ginger back into human. The way that Bridget and her friend Sam concoct the monkshood cure is very akin to cooking heroin. And I think the reasons for this are threefold, maybe there's more. It's because that it's in line with Sam, cooking drugs or making drugs to sell. He's a drug dealer. He would know how, we assume, from being any kind of drug dealer, you just naturally know how to cook heroin. Jokes. But, it's in line with his character as a drug dealer. He, presumably he would be able to cook heroin if he knows how to grow pot, which he does because he lives in a greenhouse. It's really cool. It also is in line with, as Patricia Malloy was saying, pathologizing the affliction, pathologizing the cure. And the last theory that I have is because it also ups the stakes. If it takes a long time to produce a cure, then the cure is not just going to happen like that. You can't just give someone a bite of monkshood and then they just turn back into a human. It ups the stakes by having more pressure put on the characters to have more time, to have more energy to put into the cure. As well as being medically transmitted, Georgia, oh my god, again, Ginger's lycanthropy is an ever-evolving process, much like a virus. She doesn't just get bitten and that's it. In the course of the first full moon, over a month, she goes from average, normal teenage girl.
Wrists are for girls. I'm slitting my throat.
And in a nod to the 80s heyday of animatronics and prosthetics, to fully wolf. Her hair turns white, her face becomes ridged and more prominent. She grows teeth, claws, and a tail. I was so ecstatic about this when I saw it. I was like, that is what I needed all along. That's what we have to return back to. Real physical things, not CGI. Real things. Prosthetics, prostheses, animatronics, clay and bone and everything. While Jennifer's body makes use of CGI, for Ginger Snaps, they brought on the creature designer and prosthetics effect supervisor, Paul Jones, who also worked on Bride of Chucky, Blade, and Hellraiser 2, 3, and 4. And he did an amazing job. Paul Jones, I hope you watched this. Is he still alive? It's just 20 years ago. Oh, I don't know. Well, if he does watch this, know that you have my entire heart and I would love to work with you one day. Paul Jones says of Ginger Snaps, it struck me as a film that would show off what I do for a living extremely well. It has everything in it. Every aspect of what I've done over the last 5 years is in this one film. Transformed humans, werewolves, and animatronics. And he does it so well. Another element to this is, of course, Boo, We Hate You, the sexualization of teenage girls. As Tanis McDonald says, Ginger becomes a beautiful female monster whose animal appetites are both eroticized and vilified, and she dies in order to preserve the social and sexual mores of the community. The monstrous can never survive as long as it preys on the vulnerable, and the sexual can never survive as long as it preys on the chaste. Both Ginger and Jennifer are desire incarnate. They both desire and are desired. With regards to sex and the outdated concept of virginity, these are often brought up in both films. Jennifer is targeted by the low shoulder creeps because they think she's a virgin, but because she has already had sex, that means that she is able to come back to life as a demon. From then on, she lures boys with sex in order to kill and eat them, akin to the way a black widow or a praying mantis kills her mate after having sex with them. And fact-checking that little bit of information creeps me out so much more than a demon or a lycanthrope ever would. So, however, Ginger realizes that after having sex for the first time and having sex with her boyfriend, that what she wants isn't sex so much as killing. She is ruled by the urge to kill, to rip, to maim. With Jennifer, her only desire for sex after she is turned is with Needy. A scene that renders every audience member dead silent and rapt with attention is where Needy and Jennifer make out on Needy's bed, complete with soft bokeh lighting and pink and red color grading. Conflating sex with female villainy is in line with monster media. Because she is monstrous, because she preys on the quote-unquote innocent, she must be destroyed. I'm just going to talk about the rape scene in Ginger Snaps for a few minutes, so feel free to skip forward to this timestamp. In one of the last scenes of the second act, Ginger attempts to rape Bridget's friend Sam because he is close with Bridget. This is presented as like another step in how far Ginger has devolved into an animalistic beast, but it's also used as a justification for why she should die at the end as opposed to being cured. But that's really shitty to me because she was bitten against her will. She didn't choose to succumb to her lycanthropy. And so doing all of these things, which is like, you know, attempting to rape Sam, killing dogs, killing people, biting her boyfriend, they're all just steps along the way of like this thing that is not her fault. So presenting it as like, well, it's not her fault that she's doing all these things, but because she's done them, she deserves to die, is really shitty, and I actually hate it. So I really don't like watching rape scenes or attempted rape scenes in media, but I do think in some cases they can serve a purpose. And I don't think it was useful in this movie except to prove their point, which I think is a shitty point. So Ginger doesn't deserve to die just because she's done some bad things. She deserves to be cured and live a normal life, you know, so she doesn't continue to go on to do bad things. But whatever, that's just my opinion. I do think there are right ways to do rape and attempted rape scenes, and I think in this case they did it well in showing that Sam clearly didn't want to have sex with Ginger, and he then pushed her off and it ended it. It was really a prelude to Ginger wanting to kill and eat Sam, or at least drink his blood, but I do think it was extremely unnecessary. She could have done anything else. That aside, I do think it's important to show the reality of rape and attempted rape, and one of the realities is that boys and men can be raped and are raped, and it is just as horrific and non-consensual as it is when it happens to a woman or a non-binary person. Moving on. Ferals. Let girls be feral. Let them be disgusting. Let them never brush their hair or brush their teeth or shave their legs or wash their face. Instead of us consuming sparkly, pretty teenage girls, let them consume us. Ginger and Bridget are nasty. They never brush their hair. They don't seem to wash. They dress in blackish, brownish shades of grunge, and they're obsessed with dyeing. Add to that the sheer amount of times they're covered in blood, and we have a winner chicken dinner. Jennifer is the beacon of all things pretty and bright, at least at first. When she's human, she has beautiful hair, perfect skin, and she has a commanding presence brought on by her charm, wit, and charisma. However, when she's a hungry demon, her hair falls out, her skin is pale, and she loses the sense of shiny sparkliness that we have come to associate with cheerleaders and popular girls. However, she's still popular, she still gets asked out on dates, and she still gets her way. Needy, as Jennifer's foil, is dowdy, makeupless, and dresses really frumpily. She even has a dress code that she has to adhere to, which is not as cute as Jennifer.
Wear something cute meant something very specific in Jennifer speak. It meant I couldn't look like a total zero, but I couldn't upstage her either.
When she does dress up for the dance, she wears what is possibly her mum's prom dress. It's this ruffled, bright pink, puffy sleeved, drop waist monstrosity that I can't even look at without wanting to be sick. The drop waist. The drop waist. It gets me. It gets me so bad. God. Oh, I'm normal. I'm normal about this. Even her name hints at desperation and a sense of the pathetic. Needy. Ginger becomes sexualized with her transformation. Once she is bitten, she gets a boyfriend, dresses more maturely, and starts to break away from her sister Bridget. While there is a tiny amount of friction before she gets bitten, specifically in the scene where they find the dog right before the forest, the fracture between them is apparent by the midpoint turn in which they accidentally kill Trina.
Uh-oh.
From then on, Ginger's physical transformation is reflected in her style upgrade by wearing more makeup, brushing her hair, and wearing tighter clothes. In the iconic scene, she walks through the halls wearing a crop top and a tight skirt, now drawing the attention of boys she once pitied and was disgusted by. They were once disgusted by her, but now she has become the object of their affections and they the object of her consumption. At first, Jennifer is not as sexualized by other characters as she is romanticized by Needy and sexualized by herself. In one of the first scenes we see Jennifer and Needy together, Jennifer is twirling a flag, which is in lesbian colors, might I add, while a song goes something like, "You are the girl that I've been dreaming of ever since I was a little girl."
Sandbox love never dies.
never told me lesbi gay.
What? She's my best friend.
Are we talking about in a dating, romantic sense, or as in I want to be you sense? Because as a psychosapphic teen, the line is blurred. When Jennifer embraces her demonhood, we have that iconic scene where she walks through the halls adorned in a child's pink, red-hearted hoodie, which directly parallels and draws from the same scene that I just talked about in Ginger Snaps. Except in this one, no one's looking at Jennifer. No one's watching her. They are all absorbed in their own grief and wearing black. She stands out not because people are looking at her, but because they're not looking at her. They're grieving and she's having fun. She's having the time of her life. She often sexualizes herself with remarks about breasts, like I'll play Hello Titty with the bartender, or talking about who she's having sex with. So there's a little bit of give and take. She's not completely objectified. She uses that as a part of her autonomy. When Ginger and Jennifer are their true supernatural selves, they are feral, ugly, and scary. Jennifer unhinges her more like a snake to devour Jonas, her razor-sharp teeth glinting in the soft light through the trees. In the scene where Jennifer eats Colin Gray, we see only her shadow as a reflection on the wall. She is skinny, twisted and deformed, much like the tree Needy saw as a child. Ginger's transformation from girl to wolf is paralleled with her burgeoning puberty. Her evolution into hairless, psychotic beast could be a natural progression of her lycanthropy, or could be a result of her giving in to her animal instincts. Either this isn't explained in the movie or I must have missed it, so either way, please check it down in the comments if you know. It parallels the idea that once you hit puberty, you can't go back. You can't claim your quote-unquote virginity either.
He got laid. I'm just a lay. He's a hero and I'm just a lay. A freak mutant lay.
As the director explains of his design for the animatronics, I just wanted it to be more skin and muscle than fur or hair. I really wanted to get away from the guy in a fursuit trap of other werewolf movies. I was going for a skeletal look. I wanted it to be more hellhound than werewolf, actually. While I love Jennifer's body more than I will ever love my own parents, I would have loved to see Jennifer and Needy team up in the beginning to take down Low Shoulder and just go on a countrywide revenge rampage like Thelma and Louise. That's my favorite movie. Well, I have 3 favorite movies and 2 of them are written by Diablo Cody. So what does that say about me? I fucking love Diablo Cody and I would love to work with her one day. That would be amazing. I've been filming for a long time. So I don't want to go into any of the reception of Jennifer's body because if you've been online in the last 13 years, you would know. But I will link in the description interviews between the director, Karen Kusama, the writer Diablo Cody, and Megan Fox, who plays Jennifer, interviews between them. So Ginger and Jennifer both end up with blades to the heart. That iconic exchange where Jennifer says, "My tit." "My tit." And Needy says, "No, your heart."
No, your heart.
Oh god, that movie is just so good. It's just so good. I think they're both Bowie knives, or at least the knife that Bridget uses to kill Ginger is just like a similar knife to a Bowie knife. So yeah, that's really cool. And that's actually specifically brought up in Jennifer's body, where Dirk says, "That's a hot murder weapon, dude."
Dude, that is a hot murder weapon.
And Nikolai says, "It's a Bowie knife."
It's a Bowie knife.
Bowie, nice.
Bowie, nice.
It's also hilarious that Jennifer refers to the box cutter that Needy uses to kill her with as Butch. So it's a nod to their sapphic leanings. And I would honestly love to do a sapphic interpretation of Jennifer's body. But I spent a good few years just talking about the queer interpretations of things, and I'm so over it. But I think with Jennifer's body, you can really sink your teeth into it.
There's something you can sink your teeth into.
So that's it for this video. If you've gotten this far, thank God, because it means that I have finished this video and uploaded it. Oh my God. Just remind me to never use this goddamn webcam ever again. It is so annoying. If you would like to support me further, you can follow me on Tumblr, and you can reblog my stuff, which is mostly just my YouTube videos and some of the things that I sell on my Gumroad, like my ebooks. Yeah, I don't have Patreon or Twitter or anything anymore. I'm sick of that shit. I don't want it. Just Tumblr. Just Tumblr is fine. Anyway, I'm glad to be back. Glad to be making videos again. Yeah, we're doing this, me and my wife, Lucretia, who I will link her channel in the description. We are watching 31 Days of Horror. We have a whole list of movies that we're looking at. And the first 3 were Ginger Snaps, Alien, and Jennifer's Body. So that was cool. That's why I decided to do this video. I'm terrible at making playlists and then like never actually updating them with anything. But this is in a series, a loose series of videos that I'm calling Cinechronic Filmomania or some bullshit like that, where I take different films that are closely related or that use each other's intertextuality and talk about them. I wasn't usually one for horror films and stuff. Like Jennifer's Body was pretty much as scary as it got. But I'm actually finding that I'm a lot less terrified after having several near-death experiences. Funny how that works. Okay, if you would like to support the channel, please feel free to follow me on Tumblr, reblog my stuff, like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that stuff. Please share this video if you like it, because it means that if I get enough views, I'm not too worried about subscribers, but if I get enough views on my channel, then I can start attracting or start reaching out to sponsorships, and then I can get paid for making videos, and it's almost like having a job. Barring that, if you would like to help me pay my very, very late bills, my extremely late, extremely many bills, because my work is not giving me enough work, and I am also disabled, and I can't find another job, and I'm going back on fucking Centrelink benefits. That's so much fun. That's so much fun. If you would like to support me so I don't have to do those things, I will leave a donation link in the description. And that's it. You can go now. You don't have to like stay here. You can go. Yeah, I mean, it was fun seeing you and everything, but you know, yeah. No, that's cool and everything. It's just the party's over. Everyone's going home. Yeah, we're kind of packing up now. I mean, like, the place is a bit of a mess. Yeah, thanks to you, really. Yeah. You scared the cat. You peed in the pot plant. No, I don't. No, you don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize. You just can't come back. Maybe you can come back if you know. We'll invite you next time. We'll send out an invite. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool and everything. Do you want me to call you a taxi? Call you a taxi or an Uber? And call you an Uber? No, you're just gonna hang around. Well, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Yeah, you're scaring the cat again. I think it's best you go. Okay, bye, love you, see you never.